My fellow Americans, this is the Patriarch. Since I am the patriarch of my own family, proud of it, I took it on myself to look at some numbers when it comes to the election. So, yeah, we could look at the 74 million votes that Trump got to win and the 71 million that Harris got. And those are good numbers as far as turnout goes. But there's a few things that I wanted to look at when it comes to the swing states, because even though we have a nation of 50 states, the electoral votes are very interesting, particularly with the swing states, which are these: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. It's in these 7 states that the way these states go is the way the election goes, electorally speaking. Of course, in this election, Trump in particular, he closed this election out with a popular vote victory, which hasn't happened since, I think they said, George W. Bush. So this was a big resounding victory across the board: electoral votes, popular votes. We won the House, and we're about to win the House and regain the Senate. So we have the majority in those also. So it's a pretty big victory. But are we celebrating a little bit too early? Possibly. So I looked at some of these numbers. So in those 7 swing states that I mentioned, Trump and Clinton each had 12 million votes. Trump slightly edged out Clinton, giving him 6 out of 7 states for a total of 88 of the possible 94 electoral votes. In 2020, Biden had 15 million in those swing states, 15.4 to Trump's 15.2. And he won 79 of the possible 94. And then this year, Trump had a clean sweep of those 7 swing states and got all 94 electoral votes, making it a landslide. So a landslide in the electoral, winning the popular vote. But are we celebrating too early? I mean, when you have a championship team, your team, say you're a Laker, or say you're a Dodger fan, right? Dodgers just won the World Series. Man, you're proud of that, right? Yay, go team. But the thing is, they got to start all over in spring training, right? And start all over again and compete all over again. And I think that's going to be the same case here. Obviously it is. I think most people probably go, yeah, duh. Well, here's a few things to consider. So in 2020, Biden had a 25% increase over Clinton's vote in 2016. A 25% increase. Sounds like kind of a lot. 81 million votes overall for the most popular president of all time. Yeah. But on the flip side, Trump also had an 18% increase over his numbers from 2016. So he had a significant jump too. Here's something to consider. In the swing states in 2024, Harris had a decrease of 1.8% from Biden in 2020. That's a problem, because Trump added another 5% onto his already record-setting votes from 2020. So it's just interesting. It doesn't take much. The margin of victory, Biden had a margin of victory of 1.6% of the popular vote amongst those swing states. And also in the swing states for 2024, Trump had a 5.2 margin of victory. So we're not talking about a big percentage. So it can swing right back the other way is kind of the point. But here's something to consider about voting overall. There are, as the Pew Research voter turnout in the USA had an article that they posted. Overall, 70% of U.S. adult citizens who were eligible to vote in all three elections between 2018 and 2022 voted in at least one of them, 70% in one of them, with about 37% voting in all three. So that seems to be what these numbers show, is that as we sit out and get overconfident, like, we got this in the bag. And I feel like in 2016, I think the Democrats felt that they had it cinched up. There's no way Trump's going to win. He's a celebrity. He's not a serious politician. And they got beat. And I think everybody thought, or at least I thought, that Trump was going to beat Biden because he's ridiculous and his policies are dumb and the economy tanked and everything went up in price. I know that everybody's saying that on the left, they're saying that's not the case, but it was. I remember living through it. I remember not being able to find beef in the store because there was some kind of shortage and the price was too high. Now maybe it's all artificially done, and maybe it has nothing to do with the president. Maybe that's true. But that's kind of what makes these swing votes so important, is when people feel the pinch and they feel that things aren't going right, these states kind of dictate who the president's going to be. And I think that's what happens here. I think it happened in all three elections. So I think it's important for us to consider, not the left. I think the left, I think you guys got it cinched up for next time, so I don't think you need to show up. Maybe only like the 33, 37% should show up. But on the right, I feel like we need to be committed to this thing all the time. And as Christians, it's our responsibility. I was just going over 1 Timothy, I think it's in 1 Timothy 5 is talking about how if you don't take care of your family, you are worse than an unbeliever. And what we have here, the ability to vote for representation that will affect our families directly, that affects our kids in school, what they're learning. It affects medical procedures that can be done on them without our knowledge. And our religious beliefs. These things are the things that set us apart. These are the things that should be important to all Americans, not even just Christians. So how are we not taking care of our families? That should be every American's duty. Is as a patriarch, as the patriarch of my family, it is my duty and responsibility to vote. Now, whether you believe that the votes count or not is irrelevant. That is an opportunity for us to, at least, if nothing else, voice our opinion. Our families are of great importance. And if we have an opportunity to vote to influence our children, my grandchildren, I want them to be taught correctly. I don't want anybody telling them what they should think about sex. I don't think that should ever be a discussion, ever. I don't know how it is. So in this country, we have our kids are being dragged into this stuff, not just in the schools, but through these medical transitions or even just transitioning. There's movements to eliminate parents' knowledge from the school. The school is not obligated to tell the parents of a situation that their kid is having. If their kid is struggling, why wouldn't you tell the kid or tell the kid's parents? Well, why is that a thing? I don't understand that. I don't understand how people could root for that stuff, or the actual medical transitioning. That's horrifying. That's like a Frankenstein movie to me. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't get it. I don't understand. The point is, we have an obligation as patriarchs and matriarchs have the same obligation. We have to protect our children. Number one. That's it. If it were a one issue thing, going into an election, having a position, for me, it would be abortion. But man, right behind it is this transitioning of children And right behind that is speaking to our children in school about sexual orientation and pronouns. That is off limits. My kids are off limits. My grandkids are off limits. No one talks to my kids about those things but me, or my kids' kids, right? No one talks to my kids' kids except my kids. That's confusing. But these are our families for us to govern over them, and for us to do that effectively in the public sphere is to vote. So let's not get overconfident. Let me know what you think. And this is the Patriarch signing off. Love you. God bless.